Матаджи. Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Ravanata Khora Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Rajera Rakhala Gopa Vrindapalo Chitta Hari Vamsita Hari Rajera Rakhala Gopa Vrindapalo Chitta Hari Vamsita Hari Yogendra Bandhana Srinanda Nandana Rajajana Bhayahari Yogendra Bandhana Srinanda Nandana Rajajana Bhayahari Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Vamsi Bihari Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Vamsi Bihari Yashoda Nandana Kamsa Nishudana Nikunjara Sabilasi Yashoda Nandana Kamsa Nishudana Nikunjara Sabilasi Kadambakananda Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivasi Kadambakananda Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivasi Ananda Vardhana Premani Kesana Tulasharayo Jakakama Ananda Vardhana Premani Kesana Tulasharayo Jakakama We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text number 5.
我们今天阅读圣美格大谈第6篇第16章诗节5。
Bandho Yati Hari Madhyastha Mitro Datina Vidvisha Sattva Deva Sarvesham Mita Bandhu Jatyari Madhyastha Nitrodasina Vidvisha Sarva eva hi sarvesham Bhavanti kramasho mita Bandhu Jatyari Madhyashta Metrodasina Vidvisha Sarva eva hi sarvesham Bhavanti kramasho mita Bandhu Jatyari Madhyastha Metrodasina Vidvisha Sarva eva hi sarvesham Bhavanti kramasho mita Bandhu, friends,
朋友、
yati, family members,
家庭成员、
ari, enemies,
敌人、
madhyastha, neutral,
中立者、
mitra, well-wishers,
祝愿者、
udasina, indifferent,
漠不关心的、
vidvisha, or envious persons,
或嫉妒之人，
sarve, all,
所有
eva, indeed,
确实的、
he, certainly,
肯定的、
sarvesham, of all,
所有的、
bhavanti, became,
成为、
kramasha, gradually,
逐渐的、
mita, of one another.
彼此的。
Translation. In this material world, which advances like a river that carries away the living entity, all people become friends, relatives, and enemies in due course of time. They also act neutrally. They mediate. They despise one another, and they act in many other relationships. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related.
译文在这个如一条河流向前流动般带走生物的物质世界里，人们在一定的时间里，要么成为朋友、亲人和敌人，要么是中立者、调解者，要么彼此鄙视对方，以各种关系行为处事。但是，尽管有这各种交流，没有人是永远有关系的。
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is our practical experience in this material world that the same people, the same person who is one's friend today becomes one's enemy tomorrow. Our relationships as friends or enemies, family men or outsiders are actually the results of our different dealings. Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting for his son, who was now dead, but he could have considered the situation otherwise. This living entity, he could have thought, was my enemy in my last life, and now, having appeared as my son, he is prematurely leaving, just to give me pain and agony. Why should he not consider his dead son his former enemy, and instead of lamenting, be jubilant because of an enemy's death? As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3:27, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. Factually, everything is happening because of our association with the modes of material nature. Therefore, one who is my friend today in association with the mode of goodness may be my enemy tomorrow in association with the mode of passion and ignorance. As the modes of material nature work, in illusion we accept others as friends, enemies, sons or fathers in terms of their reactions of different dealings under different conditions.
要指我们在这个物质世界里的实际经验是，同一个人今天是另一个人的朋友，明天就成为那个人的敌人。我们的敌友以及家人与外人的关系，其实都是我们与人以不同的方式交往所带来的结果。驱逐黑土王为刚死去的儿子而悲伤，但他可以从另一方面想这个问题。他可以想，这个生物前世是我的敌人，现在以我儿子的身份出现，为了让我感到极度痛苦而过早的死去。他为什么不考虑他死去的儿子是他从前的敌人？为什么不欢庆敌人的死，反而要悲伤呢？正如国家法则第3章27节所说，所发生的一切都是与物质自然接触导致的。因此，今天因为与善良属性接触而是我朋友的人，明天就有可能因为与激情和愚昧属性接触而成为我的敌人。作为物质自然属性运作的结果，我们在错觉的控制下，把在不同情况下以不同关系交往的其他人视为是朋友、敌人、儿子或父亲。
Omagyanatimarandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapayantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yathapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajevam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Radhika Shri Vishakanikamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're hearing the words of the dead son of Maharaj Chitraketu, who had been brought back to life by the mystic potency of Narada Muni.
我们听到这番话是据说黑土王死去的儿子说的，他是被拿着木别的人死而又起死复生。
Narada Muni brought the dead boy back to life so that the dead boy could give direct instruction to Maharaj Chitraketu.
拿着木尼让这个死去的孩子又复活，就是让他直接对他的父母讲话。
Maharaj Chitraketu was in great lamentation at the death of his son.
马哈拉的驱逐黑土因为儿子的过早死去而悲痛不已。
We explained yesterday how Maharaj Chitraketu wanted so badly to have a son.
我们昨天讲过，驱逐黑土王他拼命的想要一个儿子。
But when the son died, when he was still a very young boy, it was very painful to Maharaj Chitraketu.
可是当他的儿子还这么早就过早的死去的时候，驱逐黑土王感到痛苦万分。
So Narada Muni came and brought the dead boy back to life, and now the dead boy is giving instruction to his former father.
所以那阿努里就来到了皇宫，就让这个孩子又起死复生，好让他对他的前世的父亲开始讲话。
So he's telling his father that these relationships are very temporary.
所以他就对他的前世的父亲说，我们这种关系是特别短暂的。
As Srila Prabhupada notes in the purport, somebody may be our friend today and he can be our enemy tomorrow.
释迦帕帕就在要旨中说，有人可能今天还是我们的朋友，明天就变成了我们的死敌、死对手。
You can have very deep love and affection for someone, but in the course of time that love and affection can change to hatred.
我们可能以前就对一个人满怀深情和厚爱，但是随着时间的推移，我们这种感情可能转变成了仇恨。
Srila Prabhupada one time was approached by one Indian gentleman who had a son who was born with Down syndrome.
有一次呢，有一位印度绅士，他就来找帕帕的，但他的儿子呢得了这种脑瘫。
So the boy was, retarded, mentally retarded.
他这个儿子呢，他这个智力迟钝、呆傻。
So the man came to Srila Prabhupada and he asked Prabhupada, why did I get a son like this?
这个男子呢，就来到帕帕面前问他，我为什么得到这样一个儿子？
And Srila Prabhupada said to the man, he said, in previous life, this boy who is now your son, he was one of your business associates, and you took money from him.
这个帕帕德就告诉这个男子说，就这个今世成为你儿子的这个人呢，他上一世是你的商业的同游，然后你从他那里拿走了一大笔钱。
Yeah, you took money from him and you did not repay him, and he hated you for it.
因为你从他那里拿走一大笔钱，没有归还他这笔钱，所以他内心对你怀恨在心。
And the result was that when he died, he has come as your son in this condition just to give you pain.
结果呢，就是当他死去的时候呢，他就投生为你的儿子，以这样一种情况呢，就让你感到很痛苦。
So the material nature works like this. The modes of nature put us into different conditions of life.
所以物质自然属性就是以这种方式运作，把生物置于不同的境况之下。
You can be in the mode of goodness 1 minute, but you may be in the mode of passion and ignorance the next moment.
一个人可能在这一时刻处在善良属性当中，在下一秒呢又变成激情和愚昧属性了。
The modes of material nature are very powerful and they control us.
物质自然能量非常有力量的，一直在控制着我们。
How to get free from this material energy?
那如何能摆脱这个物质能量呢？
In order to overcome the material energy, we have to simply surrender to Krishna.
为了要克服物质自然能量，我们只需要臣服 Krishna。
Devihi esha gunamai mama maya duradhyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayamitam tarantite. That the material energy is very difficult to overcome. But if we surrender to Krishna, we can easily cross beyond it.
Krishna 在这时节说，我的由物质自然属性构成的外在能量非常强大，难以克服。但是谁要是臣服了我，就可以轻易跨越。
So Srila Prabhupada cites very interestingly in the purport that Maharaj Chitraketu could have had a different thought about the death of his son. He could have thought about his son's death in a different way.
圣帕帕德在要旨当中就非常有趣的说到， 实际上，马拉这其实可以他可以从另一个角度来思考这个儿子的死。
But he could have thought that this boy was my enemy and just came to give me trouble.
这个儿子他实际上他是我的敌人，他以这种方式降生了，只是为了给我找麻烦。
And now he's dead. I'm happy and free.
哎呀，现在他终于死了，然后我真是如释重负，我太高兴了。
Just like in Srimad Bhagavatam, we read about there was this one king. He desired also very much to have a son.
在《圣典国家版谈》当中讲到，有一个国王，他也同样是想要一个儿子。
Finally, he got some blessing and he was able to have a son. But when the son began to grow, he revealed a very demoniac nature.
但是最后呢，他得到祝福，终于有了一个儿子。可是随着儿子长大成人之后，他就变得越来越邪恶了本性。
He would play with the other boys, he would kill them.
只要这个男孩子呢特别淘气，他和其他男孩子一起玩耍的时候，就会把别的男孩子给杀了。
He became known as Cruel. His name was Venu, and he became known as Cruel Venu.
他的名字叫威努，后来他那个起了绰号叫残酷、残忍的威努。
And the king was lamenting that he had this son who was so demoniac.
他的父皇他就特别的伤心，他怎么能有这么一个邪恶的王子？
At first he wanted so much to have the son, and then when he got the son simply gave him a lot of trouble, a lot of pain.
那一开始呢，他拼命的想得到一个儿子，可是这个儿子得到之后呢，这个儿子带来的只是痛苦。
But then he understood that this was special mercy from the Lord.
但后来他终于明白了，这是来自主的特殊仁慈。
He understood he should not be attached to the son.
他明白了，他不应该依附这个儿子。
If the son had been very good and very saintly, then he would be very attached to the son, and he would never renounce.
如果这儿子是特别优秀的，有着很好品质，他会依附这个儿子，永远不能弃绝他。
But because he had a son who was very demoniac and very cruel and nasty, the father renounced everything and went to live in the forest.
但是如果这儿子是特别肮脏龌龊，就品质下流的，这个父亲很容易就能离家出走去森林。
So the king saw this was special mercy from the Lord, that he allowed him to be detached from his son.
所以国王呢，就终于明白这是主的特殊仁慈，好让他不依附这个儿子。
So we say attachment for the material is the cause of the greatest entanglement.
所以我们说，对物质的依附是最大的束缚。
But the same attachment for the spiritual can open the doors to liberation.
但是这种同样的依附能转向灵性的事物的话，就能打开解脱的大门了。
Lord Kapila was instructing his mother Devahuti in this way.
主卡皮勒就对他的母亲 Devahuti 做了如下的教导。
Devahuti had been enjoying with her husband for a long time.
Devahuti 母亲和她的丈夫享受了很长时间。
And they'd gone to the heavenly planets and they enjoyed in the places where the demigods went.
他们两个人一起去了天堂，去在那半神人享乐的地方。
Kardama was her husband and he was a great yogi. By his yoga powers he created an aerial mansion which could fly in space.
她的丈夫卡尔丹的目的是伟大的瑜伽师，他凭借自己的神通创造了一个空中楼阁，可以在天空飞翔。
And in this way the two of them went off and they traveled together and they enjoyed all kinds of opulence.
就这样，这两个人呢，他们一起在天空遨游，可以享受很长时间。
But then, after Kadama produced some children in the womb of his wife, and she gave birth to daughters, there were 9 daughters and 1 son.
卡达玛穆尼最后就在他妻子的子宫当中呢，他们一起孕育了9个女儿，1个儿子。
And that son was the incarnation of God, Lord Kapila.
这个儿子是神手的化身，主卡皮拉勒。
So then Kardama Muni then renounced his material life and left his wife and went off to pursue the path of renunciation.
最后，卡达玛穆尼他就弃绝了家庭生活，离开了妻子，去追求弃绝的生活方式。
And she was left, the devotee was left in the care of her divine son, Lord Kapila.
这个护体呢就被交托给他神圣的儿子卡皮拉勒来照管。
So Lord Kapila told his mother how it's not good to be attached to material relationships.
所以主卡皮拉就告诫他自己的母亲说，依附物质的生活这个很不好的。
Material relationships will always be temporary and lead to pain in separation.
物质的关系呢，它是短暂的，最后呢是以分离而告终。
We have to develop the attachment for the spiritual.
我们需要培养起对灵性的依附。
And in this way, Lord Kapila was directing his mother that she should become attached to the spiritual devotees, those people who practice spiritual life.
所以卡皮拉呢就告诉自己的母亲，劝说她要依附那些把自己献身灵性生活的这些人们。
So we see in the material world, we have very deep relationships. You enter into family life and you have people you're very affectionate with, you love them very much, you're very attached to them.
我们看到，当我们进入物质世界的家庭关系当中，我们就对他们有深深的依恋，我们开始非常的极度的迷恋他们。
But we cannot stay together forever.
但是我们和家人不能永远的留在一起。
And we understand also that sometimes there's relationships which can be very pleasing in the beginning, they can quickly turn to some very nasty, hateful relationship.
而且我们也目睹到这种关系一开始可能是非常甜蜜、特别令人愉快的，但不久就转化成特别的仇视、特别的不好、龌龊的关系。
We're influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance.
我们受到愚昧属性和激情属性的影响。
So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes happiness in the mode of passion. That in the beginning it is like nectar, but quickly it becomes poison.
主Krishna说到的这个快乐，在物质自然属性影响下的快乐，如果是激情和愚昧属性，是一开始像甘露般甜美，最后像毒药般。
And this is especially true in the relationship between men and women.
尤其是在男女关系上，这简直是太确凿的事实了。
And that's why you will see in the material world there's so much divorce.
所以我们看到在物质世界呢，就是离婚比比皆是。
That initially there was so much affection and love and feeling of attachment, but somehow it became all poison.
一开始呢，男女之间呢，他们是特别的如胶似漆、难舍难离的。结果最后呢，这种关系变成了像毒药一样。
But happiness in the mode of goodness, in the beginning, it is like poison, but gradually it becomes nectar.
而善良形态之下的快乐，一开始像毒药，结果却像甘露一样甜美。
So that is the pure relationship in which we can cultivate attachment to the spiritual.
所以有纯粹的关系在那里，这就是指的是我们应该对灵性的事物发展出依附。
The relationships of the material world are always going to be temporary.
物质世界的种种关系，最终都是短暂的。
Even the relationships with the devotees.
哪怕是和奉献者之间的关系。
We come together for some time, but we cannot stay together.
我们聚集在一起待一段时间，但是不能永久的在一起。
And we do not know where we'll go in the future.
而且我们也不知道将来我们会奔向何方。
We come together in the mood of taking up spiritual life. We want to practice seriously spiritual life.
我们来到一起，怀着这样的目的，想要真诚的修习灵性生活。
But because of our conditioning to the material world, we still have affection for the material body.
但是由于我们是在物质世界受条件限制的，我们对这个物质躯体有着依附。
We have attachments to parents and relatives, family, friends.
我们依附于父母、亲属、朋友。
But all of these relationships are just like so many bubbles in the sea.
但这种关系就像海洋中的泡沫一样。
Just like when the waves come in the sea, the waves will produce some bubbles of air, but these bubbles only last a few seconds.
就像海洋中的波涛，它们就会产生出泡沫。这个关系呢，这个泡沫不久就会破灭。
So in a similar way, we come together in the material world, different relationships. But these relationships are all finished in the course of time.
同样的，我们在物质世界，以各种关系聚集在一起，但随着时间的推移呢，它们这种关系就像泡沫一样会破灭。
But these relationships can also help us if we dovetail them. We can use them in the service of Lord Krishna.
但是如果我们把这些关系契合对 Krishna 的服务，这个关系是能帮助我们。
The relationships of the material world help us, that we can do, just like the husband and wife can help each other in the service of Lord Krishna.
就正如这个夫妻之间彼此帮助，来共同服务 Krishna。
The wife is considered the better half of the husband.
妻子被认为是丈夫的更好的另一半。
Wife is not the enemy of the husband, she's the better half of the husband.
妻子可不是丈夫的敌人，她是丈夫的更好的另一半。
And she has her duties to do. She has expected to take care of the home, keep the home clean and tidy.
她有她的职责，她应该在家里使家里变得清洁整齐。
And to have meals prepared for the family.
为整个全家准备餐食。
And to take care of the children.
照顾孩子。
To keep the husband happy.
让丈夫开心。
So there are duties for everyone in the material world.
物质世界每个人有自己的职责。
And Krishna consciousness does not deny these duties.
Krishna 知觉也并不否认这些职责。
We have to accept these responsibilities.
我们要接受这些职责。
But they can also be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness.
但这些职责呢，可以被契合在 Krishna 知觉当中。
Krishna consciousness is not like the Buddhist or the Mayavada philosophy, who all want to renounce the material world.
Krishna 知觉不像就是佛教的教义，或者是假象中的教义，他们一味的是想弃绝这个世界。
Just like in Buddhism, if you want to become a Buddha, you want to become perfect, you have to renounce the world.
像佛教当中呢，一个人要成佛，要达到完美，必须要弃绝世界。
You have to become a monk.
必须要去做一个和尚。
But in Krishna consciousness, you can remain in whatever situation you are and practice Krishna consciousness.
Krishna 知觉是不一样的，你可以继续保持你的社会地位，但是与此同时修习 Krishna 知觉。
We're not required to give up the material world.
没有必要来放弃物质世界。
But we are required to use it in the service of Krishna.
但是我们应该去用它来服务 Krishna。
The Buddhists and the Mayavadi people, they renounce the world. They go away from everything.
佛教徒和马哈巴比教象征主义者，他们就一走两支了。
But in Krishna consciousness, we stay in the material, we stay in this world, but we use it for the service of Krishna.
但是我们的 Krishna 知觉奉献者，我们会留在这个物质世界，然后在那里服务 Krishna。
Just like some of the devotees also renounce the world, become sannyasis. But a Vaishnava sannyasi renounces in order to utilize the world in Krishna's service.
就像有些人，他们进入气绝阶层，成为波波僧，但是 Vaishnava 波僧呢，他们是用这个物质世界来服务 Krishna。
The Mayavadis and the Buddhists, they give up the world. They think that everything is false or illusion.
而佛教徒或者是马哈巴比家江的主义者，会把这个世界作为是虚假的，加以摒弃。
The devotee utilizes everything for Krishna.
但是奉献者将一切都用来服务 Krishna。
So family life can also be a great asset in Krishna consciousness.
家庭生活也可以是 Krishna 知觉的一笔巨大财富。
Prahlad Maharaj told his father that he should leave the home and he should go and live in the forest.
普拉的马哈拉就告诉自己的父亲说，他应该离开家，然后进入森林。
Prahlad Maharaj told his father he was like an animal in the bottom of a well.
他告诉他的父亲说，他自己的父亲就好比掉在一口井中的动物。
And Prahlad Maharaj said, he used the word Griha Andakupam, that your home is like a blind well.
他说，他用了维哈昂的库帕，说他自己的家，他的家就好比一口黑井。
And he said to his father, your only hope is to go to live in the forest.
他对父亲说，你唯一的希望就是去森林里住。
But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a householder with a large family.
而圣巴提诺塔库，他是个居士，他有一个很大的家庭。
And he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna.
但他就是主Krishna的伟大奉献者。
And he has taught us, he has written in one of his songs, Yedina Grehe Bhajana Deke Greheti Golokapaya. That when I worship the deity in my home, then my home becomes the spiritual world.
他写了这首诗歌说，当我在家崇拜神像的时候，我的家就变成了狗罗可文大文。
So you can see the contrast between for a materialistic person and for a devotee.
所以我们可以看一个物质主义者和奉献者之间的这个巨大差别。
They both may be in family life, but they're in very different consciousness.
他们二者可能都处在家庭生活当中，但他们的知觉却有天壤之别。
The materialist, he is not considered grihasta. He is a grihamedi. His business is simply envy.
一个物质主义者，他不能称为是 grihasta， 他只能说是 grihamedi， 他是一心就是他心里都怀着嫉妒。
Grihamedis, they envy other people. Oh, they've got the bigger house. Oh, they've got more children. They envy others. Their whole business is envy of other people.
他们就是嫉妒别人说，哎，你看他的家有一个更大的家，买更大的房子，他有那么多的孩子，他比我的孩子多，他总是在嫉妒。
Oh, they have more money than we have.
哎，你看他们家比咱家钱多。
So this is the materialistic view of life.
所以这就是典型的物质主义的观点。
They just look at others and they feel bitter if someone has more than them.
就他看着别人呢，只要别人比他更强，他内心就特别苦涩。
And if someone has less than them, they look down on them.
但是如果别人呢不如他们，比他们拥有的物质少，他就很鄙视别人，瞧不起。
But devotee in Krishna consciousness will have a very different mood.
但是在Krishna之觉的奉献者观点完全不同。
A devotee in Krishna consciousness is a grihasta. He's in a spiritual ashram.
Krishna 之觉的奉献者呢，他们的家居生活是 grihasta， 是 grihasta 灵性的阿爽。
So they have a home, but the center of their home is Lord Krishna, and they live together in the home with the family for practicing Krishna consciousness.
他们家居生活是紧紧围绕着 Krishna， 所以他们全体的家庭成员呢，都是围绕着服务 Krishna。
Yeah, they understand that they're all spiritual entities, and somehow they've come together in the one family.
他们明白每个家庭成员都是灵性的生物体，无论如何呢，他们现在组成了一个家庭。
By the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, man and woman meet together, become husband and wife, and produce children by the grace of the Lord.
在主的安排之下呢，男人和女人他们在一起结合，他们藉着主的恩赐呢，他们生下了孩子。
And they raise the children in Krishna consciousness to be devotees.
而且他们把孩子抚养成有Krishna知觉的奉献者。
They are not overly concerned with their material situation.
他们不太在乎他们自己的物质处境。
They're satisfied with whatever comes about by their honest endeavor.
无论他们自己有什么样做出什么样诚实的努力，然后得到什么，他们都心满意足。
They want to simply depend on the Supreme Lord, Krishna.
他们只是一心依赖至尊主 Krishna。
Their business is not simply to be materially prosperous, but at the same time, whatever comes by the grace of the Lord, they can accept and use it for His service.
他们没有物质的野心，希望在物质上繁荣发达。但是无论 Krishna 给予他们什么样的事物，他们就接受。
And in course of time, they know that they will be separated again.
而且他们也知道，随着时间推移，他们两个人也会再次分开。
But they make all arrangements that they will have a good future in the service of Lord Krishna.
但是他们会做出安排，他们会有一个很好美好的未来去服务 Krishna 的美好未来。
Are there any questions? Yes, Peter Gamya, Marathi.
What's the difference between spiritual envy and material enviness?
There's no envy in the spiritual world.
在灵性世界没有嫉妒，
Envy is in the material world.
嫉妒之情呢，只能存在物质世界。
We're all envious. Ultimately, we're all envious with Krishna.
所以终极而言呢，我们都是嫉妒 Krishna 的。
Right? Krishna has more than us.
Krishna 怎能比我多呢？他拥有。
He's better looking than us. He's stronger than us. He's more educated than us. He has everything more than us.
Krishna 的相貌比我更好，他比我拥有的更多，然后比我更强壮，他比我更有受到更好的教育，他比我的一切都多。
And so we envy Lord Krishna.
所以我们就嫉妒他。
And we envy others because they're also part of Krishna.
我们也嫉妒其他的人，因为他们是 Krishna 所有的部分。
But in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, because you're not envious of me, therefore I'm speaking this knowledge to you.
主 Krishna 在佛家放歌对儿子们说：“因为你从不嫉妒我，我要向你传授这门最机密的科学。”
And similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam begins that this Bhagavad Purana is for those who have given up envy.
在圣典国家法坛说到，这部国家梵宝之书是给那些没有嫉妒之心的人看的。
So envy is the material world, but not in the spiritual world.
所以嫉妒之情呢，只能是在物质世界中有，在灵性世界不能有嫉妒之情。
In the spiritual world, however, there is competition.
但是在灵性世界呢，却存在着竞争。
A devotee likes to compete with others. They think, oh, they have done so nicely to serve Lord Krishna. Let me also try to serve Krishna.
一个奉献者他想，哎，你看这奉献者为 Krishna 做这么好的服务，让我也努力的服务 Krishna。
The gopis compete with each other.
勾品牧牛姑娘呢，她们彼此有竞争。
Sometimes it appears like there is envy, but that what appears like envy is only the rasa to increase the pleasure of Lord Krishna.
有时候貌似呢有嫉妒，但这种嫉妒呢是种 rasa， 只是为了增加 Krishna 的快乐开心。
Lord Krishna enjoys when he sees the gopis more in anxiety for him.
当主 Krishna 看见勾品们更一个比一个渴望得到他的时候，他很开心。
What's your other question?
第二个问题是什么？
第二个，他们不是做那个花儿和那个例子的。那比如说现在我们知道一个人欠另外一个人钱，但是突然间他在还没有还他的时候，我们怎么去改变一下？
改变什么？
改变下一次别做他的法律，
改变业报。Just like the case of Srila Prabhupada with the gentleman that he had a son who is the brain is not foolish. For example, if two men, one has borrowed the money from another, but before he can return the money, he died. So how to change the karma in this case?
Somebody takes money from another man,
Yeah.
and then the man dies,
Yes.
and you can't repay the money.
Yes. So the karma is not finished.
No, yeah, well, the karma will be there in the next life.
所以这个业报还会在下一世还会继续。
That you have a debt to someone, that debt will continue in the next life. You have that. Somehow there will be a situation where you're obliged to do something for someone.
因为这一世你没有还另外一个人钱，然后结果他死了，那么下一世呢就会有这样一个情景，就是你被迫呢也会欠他的钱。
It will be arranged that you're put in a situation where you do work for others without getting paid.
就会安排这样一种情景，就是你拼命的给他工作，结果他还不给你工资。
So there's a reason for it.
所以这背后是有原因的。
The reason was that in the past you borrowed money and you didn't repay it.
这个原因就是在前一世呢，你从他那里借了钱，结果没有还他的钱。
So you're put into the situation in this life where you repay that debt.
所以呢，你这一世呢，你就被处在这样的这种关系当中呢，你就要以这种关系来偿还上一世的欠债。
Material nature arranges these different situations.
这是物质自然给安排了这样的情景。
We don't remember, but Krishna is a super soul. He remembers everything.
我们已经记不住了，但是内心的超灵他还能记住一切。
Rajendra.
那个提到了奉献者在一起也会分开，不会长久。那么奉献者分开时，他会有一种痛苦，因为他依附一个奉献者，他会痛苦。这个痛苦是灵性的还是快乐？如果要减少这种依附的话，是不是我们和奉献者短暂相处的时候不应该培养太多的依附，对吗
？Just now you mentioned that the devotee's relationship is also temporary. So when two devotees when they separated, they will feel painful in the heart. So is that, may I ask, so when devotees are together, they shouldn't be attached to each other very much.
The devotees are attached to each other in the sense that they're attached to the service which they do for Krishna.
他们的彼此的依附呢，应该是依附着彼此对 Krishna 的服务。
We're attached to the service to Krishna. We're not just attached to the people we do the service with.
我们依附的是彼此之间为 Krishna 所做的服务，而不是依附服务的那个人。
Sometimes Krishna arranges, he sends very good people, very qualified people to do wonderful service.
有时候Krishna 会安排非常优秀的、非常好的人来做服务。
And sometimes Krishna takes them away.
有时候 Krishna 又把他们拿走了。
But Prabhupada writes in the purport in Srimad Bhagavatam that we have to accept ultimately that everything is going on under Krishna's plan.
但是帕帕德在要旨当中说，我们应该接受，终极而言，一切是 Krishna 的计划。
Srila Prabhupada had the experience himself. At one point there was a very nice man coming who was he was a scientist and he was very much inclined to help Prabhupada preach to the scientists. But somehow the man died untimely.
有一次，有一个科学头脑的科学家，他就来到帕帕德的身边呢，他可以在科学界帮他传教，可是他就过早的离开，死了。
So Prabhupada understood. Prabhupada said to the devotees that Krishna arranges. He said, what can we do? We are powerless. We have to accept the plan of Krishna.
帕帕德就对奉献者说，我们是无助的，我们没有力量。我们又能怎么办呢？出现这种情况。
He brings us together, puts us together for some time, and in course of time we're separated again.
他Krishna把我们带到了一起，让我们在一起停留一段时间，最后又把我们分开了。
But that attachment to the devotee, that is not material, that is spiritual.
但是对奉献者的这种依附呢，不是物质的，是灵性的依附。
We see the example in the battle, and during the battle of Kurukshetra, that at one point Abhimanyu, who was the dear son of Arjuna, was killed in the battle.
我们看到呢，在Kurukshetra战场上呢，Arjuna 的儿子 Abhimanyu 他就被杀了。
So Arjuna and the Pandavas, they greatly lamented the death of Abhimanyu. He was very much loved by all of them.
所以Arjuna 和潘达五兄弟就为这Abhimanyu 的死呢而悲痛不已，因为他们都深爱着Abhimanyu。
Now, Lord Krishna had just spoken the Bhagavad Gita a few days earlier to Arjuna, and he told Arjuna, those who are wise don't lament for the living or the dead.
但是几天之前，主Krishna刚给Arjuna 讲完国家梵歌，他说。智者不为生者哀伤，也不为死者悲痛。
So Arjuna, was he wrong when he lamented? Was it wrong? Was it just ignorance that he lamented?
那Arjuna 他为儿子死而悲伤，他是不是错的了呢？他是在愚昧当中。
No, it was natural affection. He had great affection for his son, and when the son was killed, it was very painful to Arjuna, and he did lament.
这不是这样的，这是自然而然的。Arjuna 爱自己的儿子，而儿子死了之后，他悲伤，这是自然的流露。
But he went on the next day to fight and to revenge the death of Abhimanyu.
但是Arjuna 就次日就继续作战，为Abhimanyu的死而报仇。
He did not lament and think, "Oh, I'm going away from the world. Oh, I'm not going to take part in any more." No, but he continued his duty and he fought and he avenged the death of Abhimanyu.
Arjuna 并没有一味的沉溺于悲伤之情，说：“哎，我也不作战了，我就离开这儿。” 不是，他继续履行了他的责任，而且他为他的儿子死而报仇了。
Any other questions?
Hi Maharaj. So in this material world, Maharaj, the relationships are not permanent, but we do have permanent relationships in the spiritual world. I understand. And so how to balance actually the relationships in this world for a devotee, because if we're thinking, for instance, oh, the mother thinking, oh, you are not my son, or the son, no, you are not my father, or, we still have the relationships. So how a devotee should balance these relationships which are temporary.
说我们在这个我们知道在这个物质世界关系是短暂的，但我们知道在灵性世界呢，也是有着关系存在的。那比如说在物质世界，我们说你不是我爸，这个儿子，父亲对儿子说你也不是我儿子，就是这个怎么平衡这种关系？
Well, we understand that we are still conditioned souls. We're not yet liberated souls.
我们要明白呢，就是我们当下还不是解脱的灵魂，我们还是受条件限制的灵魂。
For the liberated soul, then he doesn't have to worry about any kind of relationship.
对于解脱了的灵魂，他不用为任何的关系而担心。
But in conditioned life, we have responsibilities and we have to recognize our duty as a devotee, that we do want to practice some self-realization, but at the same time, we have also duties and commitments and responsibilities in the material world.
所以，作为奉献者，就是我们还有职责要履行。我们在这个物质世界呢，我们仍然要去练习着，去在灵性生活当中去尽自己的职责。
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the home of Tapana Mishra, and Tapana Mishra had a young son there, Gopal Bhatta. Raghunath Bhatta was one. Raghunath Bhatta was the son of Tapana Mishra. So Lord Chaitanya went to the home and he stayed there with Tapana Mishra home for some time. And the son wanted to go with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Lord Chaitanya told the boy that, no, you stay, take care of your mother and father. Then after they leave the world, then you come to Vrindavan.
主柴丹亮他曾经一度居住在塔潘密舍的家。塔潘密舍呢有一个儿子 Raghunath Bhatta， 都是 Raghunath Bhatta。当时主柴丹亮离开的时候，这年幼的Gopal Bhatta他就想跟主柴丹亮一起走，但是主柴丹亮就告诉他说：“你留在家中服务你年迈的父母，等他们离开躯体之后，你再离开家。”
So you have a mother and father. If you can keep them in Krishna consciousness, then it's all right.
如果还有父母健在，如果能让他们保持在归的知觉当中，这是无可厚非的。
You don't want to be cooking meat and serving non-vegetarian dishes to them.
你肯定是不想为他们做肉，给他们吃肉食非素食的人。
We don't want to be giving money to them to go and buy alcohol and cigarettes.
我们也不想给他们钱，让他们拿去抽烟喝酒。
So we have some conditions in associating with our relatives and family.
当我们和我们的亲戚和家人在一起联谊的时候，我们有一些条件。
The difficult situation is husband and wife. sometimes the wife may be practicing and the husband is not practicing.
就是困难的，其实出在夫妻的关系，有的时候是单修，就夫妻一方修行。
We see more ladies than men practicing Krishna consciousness.
我们看到修行 Krishna 知觉的女性比男性要多。
And many of the ladies, they have their husbands. Their husbands are not devotees.
有很多的女性呢，她们都是已婚的，她们有丈夫。
But they share each other's karma.
但是她们彼此都分享着对方的 karma 业力。
Their pious and sinful activities come together. The husband and wife, their whatever good things they do, whatever good things the wife does, the husband gets some benefit. And whatever sins a man may do, the wife also gets some reaction.
就是他们彼此分享着对方的业力，当妻子做了虔诚活动，丈夫也能分享。但是如果丈夫从事了罪恶活动，妻子呢也要承担丈夫的罪恶活动。
They enjoy each other's pious and sinful, and they suffer for each other's sins.
他们享受着彼此的虔诚活动，他们也为彼此的罪恶活动而要受苦。
So we encourage, the wife. We don't encourage her to leave the husband, but we encourage the wife to try to make the husband more spiritual, bring him to the spiritual path.
所以我们鼓励妻子不要离开自己的丈夫，而要鼓励丈夫进行灵性修行。
Don't just try to enjoy the material world, but try to bring the whole family into Krishna consciousness.
不要试图去享受物质世界，而要努力的试图要把整个家庭成员都变成有 Krishna 知觉。
And then that will be good for everyone.
这样一来呢，人人都会受益，都会得到好处。
It may take a little austerity.
这也许会需要一些苦行。
Just like a lot of people are very attached to eating meat and fish and eggs.
就好像有很多人他们依附于吃鱼、肉、蛋。
And we ask people give up these things.
我们要求人们要放弃鱼肉蛋。
Ordinary people find it very difficult.
普通人觉得放弃鱼肉蛋很困难。
They think there's nothing to eat.
他们觉得没什么好吃的。
They think to be vegetarian means you just eat some green leaves and rice.
他们觉得素食就无非一些绿叶啊，一些大米饭。
So it's really important that everyone learns how to cook nice prasadam.
所以很重要的是，人人都要学习怎么做好吃美味的prasadam。
That the food should be attractive and tasty and nutritious.
这个prasadam呢，应该是色香味道俱全的。
And when you cook nice foodstuffs, people will be attracted.
一旦如果做出的prasadam特别的好吃的话，人们就会被吸引。
One of our devotees in Shanghai, he was a software engineer working in a big office. So his wife would cook lunch for him every day and she'd prepare a lunchbox. And he'd take it to office and eat his lunchbox. And he told us that when everybody in the office saw what he was eating, they were all saying, "Oh, can you get one for me? Can you bring it?" They all wanted to eat the same food he was having.
就是在上海呢，有一份他是公司的软件工程师，他妻子呢就每天给他带盒饭带到办公室，然后当这丈夫在中午吃饭的时候打开盒饭的时候，所有的这个同事看到以后都很眼馋，说：“哎，你下回能给我带一份吗？”
You know, how long can you be satisfied eating KFC or Madong Lao?
就是吃 麦当劳或者肯德基，一个人他是不会永远的满足于吃这2样食物的。
But if you get some nice Krishna prasada prepared in the home by a loving wife, then that is plenty.
如果是一个满怀爱心的妻子在家中所做的美味的普沙的，就会产生巨大的影响。
Okay. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.